always ask myself each and every day, why is it that African leaders think that forcing themselves onto citizens of their respective countries will make them legitimate and will legitimize their governments? Because I've seen it several times. When citizens come and ask questions, instead of answering the questions, instead of finding the solutions, what they do is subjecting those people to torture, illegal detentions, or they will try to frame that person that is leading that particular group of people that are standing for the right cause. I fail to understand that. I don't know why it has become a norm in Africa. If it has not come yet to your country where you are lucky. But in countries like Uganda, in countries like Congo, in countries like Tanzania, Kenya, I've seen it in the southern of Africa, Mozambique. Governments think using force onto the citizens will legitimize the government. I don't really understand that, because I thought you are given the positions to serve the citizens. If the citizens have questions, you must answer them. If you are unable to answer them, then you must step aside and someone else comes in, because at the end of the day, you all belong to that same particular country. You're all citizens of that country. Why do you think that detaining these people that are asking questions that don't have answers is the only answer? Why do you think that instilling fear, intimidating, violence, because every time we try to ask our fellow brothers, our African leaders, that why do we have no roads? Why is it that there's a lot of corruption and embezzlement, bribery? The answer, they become violent. They think that is how they will blind us from seeing how corrupt they are. And I ask myself, why are you greedy? Because we have paid for you, we have given you everything that you need. Then why are you greedy? In other words, why do you turn violent every time we ask you questions? Every time we come out and say, why is it that there's so much corruption in your sector? Why do you always think that the answer to these questions is violence, is detentions, is torture, is abductions? It has become a norm, and it has become so rampant, and it is ugly. It has become so common in Africa that illegal detentions, corruption, torture, illegal detentions, torture, abductions is the answer to questions that citizens ask. Because if citizens come and ask, why is that there is corruption? Why are you corrupt? Or if you have a position and another person is standing, because we used to think it is you stand to serve people. You're giving them a service. If you cannot answer the questions, because first of all, we give you 100% control of all the resources in that particular country. We give you 100% of all the taxes in that particular country. But you have failed even to provide the basics, healthcare, education, at least good transport network. But what you can give back to people that have given you office, that have given you resources, that have given you taxes, that have given you security, that they even lack, what you give back to them is detentions, torture. If they are not detaining, if they are not killing, if they are not doing all that, then they are corrupt. They are embezzling the taxpayers' money, the resources that are supposed to be equally shared amongst citizens. How? By providing functioning healthcare systems. But when citizens start asking, why is it that there is corruption? Why are you trying to play games? Why have you started, to amend the acts in the constitution? You want to make yourself a lifetime president or a lifetime leader. The answer is always those are terrorists. Now they need to be detained. Now those ones need to be killed. Assassinations. It has become a norm. They will never amend the constitution to make sure that, children get education. They will never amend the constitution to increase the money that is given to the health sector. But they amend the constitution when someone wants to overstay in power, probably, when someone wants to press an organization that they see it is asking so many questions, why they are not serving people. And that is ugly and wrong. That's why each and every day I come here to remind our African, especially the young brothers, especially the young people in Africa, that please, we should not be like them. We should always challenge them in the right way. Most of the leaders that we have, they have acquired their leadership through violence, through killing people, through creating terror in countries, and they end up overthrowing the governments that were there at the time. But today, what they claim they fought for, what they claim they fought against, is what they are basically subjecting citizens to. And that is ugly and wrong. If you still have a brain, if you're still a young man there in Africa, do not allow yourself to be dragged into that kind of system. And yes, we can do it non-violently, because we can run campaigns, we can learn hashtags, and the world is going to watch, and the world is going to understand that no, according to the people in this country, they are not happy with the leadership. And no one is going to do business with them. No one is going to associate with them. And eventually, that is how they will collapse. That's how they will lose power. We are the people that give them power. We are the people that decide whether they should stay or not. No matter how violent they will be, no matter how many people they will kill, no matter how many people they will detain, at the end of the day, if we are together and uniform under one goal, we shall achieve the goal. But I'm tired of looking at these things. Government subjecting citizens to torture, civilians to torture, illegal detentions, abductions. They think that is what they will do, that it will instill fear into citizens, and then they will become submissive to them. We can do better. It is a service. It is a service. People come together, give you full capacity to take charge of the resources and the taxes. If you cannot provide the little that you're supposed to give them, like schools, healthcare, and transport, and they ask you why, if you cannot have a dialogue and understand where the cause is, then step aside. Someone else should come in. Probably they would do better. If you were good enough, guide. But if you're not good enough, then that's how you will turn to violent. You start killing people, you start abducting, you start doing all the ugly things. Amending the constitution, not for the good, but for the bad. For the good on your side, but for the bad on the side of the citizens. That is wrong. We should not just watch when that is going on. We should really actually step up. We should really actually step up and say no. And actually, the moment you sense it, start when it is still early, because when it grows, it becomes too huge. It comes close to impossible. But when we start when it is still early, we can win it. We have to be wise young Africans. And we should refrain from being violent, because these leaders that we have, they have probably mastered the violence technique. So they want you to be violent so that they can turn you into a terrorist and they kill you. So let's be non-violent and look for the best way. Run campaigns. So and so must go. Campaigns, we say no to this. Campaigns, save the children, save the women. This country should be free. We can do this non-violently. Let us not look like those ugly leaders. I hate them. Very hypocritical. They have no integrity, no ethics. When someone is being asked, why did you steal the money? Because it was meant to build a hospital or a school, but they turn violent. They don't want to answer questions. We can do this, my fellow brothers and sisters.